Hello, children. Good morning. So, children, it's English Balabharati of Standard 7. So, today we are going to see Unit number 4 from Unit number 4, second lesson, Unke Munke Timpe 2. So, children, I hope that you know about the blind belief. Actually, what it is? It is not based on reason, knowledge, and that superstition person has no care for the impact of his monstrous belief on others. So it's an blind belief. So you should not believe on it or you should not follow it. So this lesson which we are going to see today, so it is not actually based on blind belief, but no superstition is there, but used a logical thinking is there. So two friends are there and both of their attitude is rational. So what is rational? Rational means it's a good thing, no doubt, but if you will follow it or if you will have that rational attitude too much, excess, which will be make you really stupid. And so now here same thing is happen with the two boys. So we will see the story. It's very interesting story, funny story. Its end is very funny, and this story is written by Shingrun Srivastava. It is taken from some more short stories of himself only. Okay, so let's turn to our topic. You have to see on page number 81, lesson number 4.2, Unke Munke Timpe 2. Children, three characters are in this story. They are Rohan, Mook, both of these are friends, and Mrs. Grover. So we will see the first paragraph. It will be a fantastic birthday this year, I said. Now who is this I? I means Rohan. In a mocking tone. All I will get is a pair of shoes and hand knitted pullover. I had asked for a table tennis set, but my mother said it is totally out of the question this year. Now it's a conversation between Rohan and Mook. So Rohan is telling to Mook that he is demanded for a table tennis set for his birthday, but he did not get it. So what he get? He will get that pair of shoes and hand knitted pullover. He asked his mother to give him a table tennis set, but his mother replied him that it is totally out of question this year. So Rohan became nervous and he is sharing whatever happened in his house, the thing he is sharing to his friend Mook. My friend, Mook looked at me thoughtfully. He drew a bit closer and said, Well, Rohan, I don't say I believe in it, but my cousin said it works. And there is no harm trying, don't you think? Now, Mook suggested him something that his cousin, who said that whatever he has done, it works. So it is not very harmful. But if you will try, it will complete your demand. Trying what? I asked. Now Rohan asked Mook. Trying? What to try? Well, my cousin said, if you really want something badly, all you have to do is to run around a banyan tree at midnight and chant 17 times Unke Munke Timpe 2. So now Mook told him that his cousin said, if you want anything really badly means by heart. If you want the things I want in anyhow condition. So at that time you have to run around a banyan tree. And when? At midnight means after 12 o'clock. And chant 17 times Unke Munke Timpe 2. I desperately wanted my wish to come true. Still I asked, why 17 times and why at midnight? Don't ask me, he replied Mook. Who was my best friend? That is how it is done, I suppose. Why not try it? It would not do any harm. I thought it was all nonsense. Besides, I could not think of any banyan tree in our neighborhood. There was one in old Mrs. Grover's garden. But who dared to enter her garden? Not me, and not at midnight. Mrs. Grover had been the principal of our school till last year. One look from her piercing pale green eyes was enough to silence bullies like Rinku Lal of class 10. I had seen it happen with my own eyes. Forget it, I said. However, the thought kept haunting me till the day before my birthday, and I just could not think of anything else. Okay, I said to Mook. If you come along with me, I will go to Mrs. Grover's garden tonight and do it. Now Mook suggested one plan to Rohan. Rohan listened it carefully, but now he is thinking on it. What to do? Can I do it or I can't? Now he thought that it all will be nonsense. And even he thought that I could not think of any banyan tree in our neighborhood. So where I have to go? Because Mook told him that you have to go run around the banyan tree. But no banyan tree is there. After that he recalled that one banyan tree which is in the garden of Mrs. Grover. So who was Mrs. Grover? That Mrs. Grover had been the principal of his school till the last year. And he knew that she is very strict. Her piercing pale green eyes, he remembered it. And he thought, no, it is not possible for me, because he saw that Rinku Lal of class 10th. How Mrs. Grover treated to Rinku Lal, that he recalled. And he said, no, it is impossible for me. Forget it. I should not do it. But till the day before his birthday, he was just thinking on the idea which is given by Mook. He thought, I should go or I should not go. He is now became confused. But after all, he said okay to Mook. But he demanded him that he put one condition in front of Mook. Yes, I am ready. But if you come along with me, I will go to Mrs. Grover's garden tonight and do it. So children, now we will see what happened. Why should I come along? Asked Mook. I have no secret wish. Come on, let us go and wish for my table tennis set. So at 10 minutes to 12, Mook and I met at the back of old Mrs. Grover's garden. We climbed and sat on the boundary wall. We looked down into the garden, which lay dark and silent in the dim light of the moon. And there was a banyan tree, its aerial roots swaying in the gentle breeze of the night. We jumped down, reached the tree, and looked around carefully. Imagine if she is awake, I whispered and pointed at Mrs. Grover's house. Nobody is awake at this ghostly hour of the night, hissed Mook. Now get going, run. I ran as fast as I could, chanting Unke Munke Timpe too. I wish my wish is coming true. Over and over again. I felt a bit scared. That was why I tried to get it over quickly and increased my speed. I increased the chanting too. And all the while I went on listening to the sound of night, a crackle here, a swish here. Children, now Mook and Rohan, as per their plan, they went in the Mrs. Grover's garden. They reach over there. And now it's a time of midnight. Just imagine the silence of that night. Few sounds are coming. His heartbeats are going fast. And he started to do his rounds. Mook told him, do it fast. And he started very fast. But at the same time, Rohan was thinking if Mrs. Grover will come outside or if she will awake. But even he started. He ran as fast as he could and chanting Unke Munke Timpe too. and he was telling that I wish my wish is coming true. He felt scared. He tried to get it over quickly, increased his speed, increased the chanting too, and all the while he went on listening to the sounds of night. A crackle here, a swish. He was afraid with that sound. At the same time, he was doing his chant and he was thinking about Mrs. Grover. Even he heard different kind of sounds. So it's a very funny moment, student. So whatever they decided, as per that, they have done it. But actually, it is completed or his chanting is incomplete. Now we will see that. Suddenly, a ferocious bark tore the stillness of the night. I froze. Inside Mrs. Grover's house, lights flashed on, and the back door was pushed open. Now, children, what happened? One bark which tore, and because of that sound, Mrs. Grover's house lights flashed on, and she opened back door. And because of this, he became froze. Who is there? Called Mrs. Grover. Answer or I will send the dog at you. Mook, Mook, I mumbled. Say something. But Mook was climbing up the tree. When I saw Mrs. Grover bend down to unlace the dog, I pleaded, please don't send the dog at us. I will explain everything if you let me. Speak out soon, Mrs. Grover shouted. I told her everything. I feared she might not believe me, but she listened to me without interruption. She just looked at me with the hard light green eyes of hers, as if she was trying to see right into my heart. So she asked finally, and you believe in unke munke timpe too? Do you think it will help? I dropped my head and said softly, I hope it will. So now, children, both of that friends, Mook and Rohan, both of them caught by Mrs. Grover. And she shouted on them. They requested, don't send your dog at us. We will explain you everything. And they told everything to Mrs. Grover. What was their plan? She heard everything. And at same time, Rohan was thinking that she is looking with her green eyes inside his heart. So now she is asking finally that, would you believe on unke munke timpe too? Do you think that it will help you? I dropped my head. Miss Rohan said, I dropped my head and said softly, I hope it will. Well, she returned. If you believe so, go and finish your rounds. She turned, saying, and while leaving, would you mind using the front gate? Now she said to Rohan that you have to go. She heard everything. And she said that you have to go and complete your remaining rounds. But whenever you will be returned, you have to go from front gate. I did finish the remaining 6 rounds and left her garden using the front gate. Now Rohan completed remaining his 6, means total 17 he has completed. I swore that I would never return. And then the great moment came. I opened my gift, rejoiced over my new pairs of shoes and hand-knitted pullover. And then my eyes fell on a parcel, a big parcel. I had never received such a big parcel earlier. To Rohan Khanna, I read, from Unke Munke Timpe too. I started at Mook and he looked as surprised as I was. He got gift, that is shoes and hand-knitted pullover. But at the same time, he saw a big parcel, and on that parcel, Rohan Khanna is written over, and that gift is from Unke Munke Timpe too. So he got shocked, and suddenly he thought that he should tell to Mook. He started at Mook, and he looked as surprised as he was. His mother asked him, who is Unke Munke Timpe too? His mother asked him, who is Unke Munke Timpe too? Isn't that an unusual name? Yes, I said, very unusual indeed. I bent over the parcel and began to unpack it. I removed the strings and the paper immediately. Finally, I removed the colorful gift wrapping and found a table tennis set. It was not a brand new table tennis set, but it was a fabulous one. Wow, I whispered, just wow. So now, when he saw that parcel, he became very excited to open that box. He started to begin to unpack it, and he removed the strings and paper immediately, and he saw that inside that box a table tennis set is there. It is not a brand new one, but it's a old one, but it is very fabulous. Till today, Mukh swear he was nothing to do with it, and so do my parents. I wondered if old Mrs. Grover was responsible for the surprise. I wondered for a gift long time. One day I gathered up all the courage I possessed and went to meet Mrs. Grover. I used the front gate and rang the bell. I had gone over my lines 100 times. But when she looked down on me with her pale green eyes, I felt my heart sink and my courage vanish, and all I could do was stuttered like an idiot. Good afternoon, madam. Did you? Have you? Sorry. But do you believe in unke munke timpetu? Now he became very confused because of happiness. He can't talk properly with Mrs. Grover because he got it that gift is sent by Mrs. Grover, and he became too much happy. Mrs. Grover continued to look at me with a strange look in her eyes. She replied softly but seriously, Yes, I do believe in unke munke timpetu. I had wished to have somebody over for tea today. And here you are. Now isn't it a perfect example of unke munke timpetu? Ron asked to Mrs. Grover that she believed on unke munke timpetu, and she replied him, Yes, I do believe in unke munke timpetu, because she said that I wish today that somebody should be give company to me for tea, and here you are. So she said that this is the perfect example of unke munke timpetu. She smiled and she looked so different, almost human. From that day onwards, Mukh and I went to see her, Mrs. Grover, quite often. Not only because she made the best tea and had the best cookies. No, we went because we liked her. And then we had one thing in common. We all believed in unke munke timpetu. So children, before English workshop, we will see margin questions. So you have to see on page number 81. See that first question. At right side, find the sentences in which the author and his friend claim that they do not believe in magic. So which are that sentences? First sentence is, I don't say I believe in it. And second one is, I thought it was all nonsense. Next question is, what do their actions show? So answer is, their actions show that whatever they may have said, they do believe a little bit in magic. See on page number 82. If you hear about something that fulfills your wishes, would you try it? So now children, this answer you have to write down in your own words. If you believe on it, or if you want to try like Rohan and Mukh, you have to write down your opinion. Next question, do you think the author is brave? The answer is yes. To be brave is to continue doing something even when you are afraid, or to face someone you are afraid of. The author did both things, so that author is brave. Children, now see on page number 83. First question is, how do we know that Mukh was frightened? Answer is, we know that Mukh was frightened because when he heard that Mrs. Grover was about to send the dog at them, he climbed up a tree in fear to escape from the dog. And he shouted that please don't say the dog at us. We will explain everything if you will let me. Next question is, what opinion do you form of Mrs. Grover from the way she treated the boys? Discuss. So now this answer you have to write down in your own words. Next one, did the author really rejoice over his shoes and pullover? So answer is no, he did not. He probably presented to do so that his mother would not be hurt. Children, now see on page number 84, the first question. The table tennis set was not new, but was a fabulous set. What does it imply? So answer is, it implies that the author was so desperate for a table tennis set that even an old one was welcome. It could also mean that though the set was old, it was good quality and well maintained. It was a fabulous one. Did the surprise gift really come from Unke Munke Timpetu? So answer is no, it did not. Actually, it is given by Mrs. Grover. Next question is, in your opinion, who must have sent the gift? The answer is only Mrs. Grover. The author and Mook knew about Unke Munke Timpetu. Since Mook was surprised to see the gift, he could not have been the one to send it. Hence, Mrs. Grover must have sent it. Next question is, what is Unke Munke Timpetu? A charm or an act of friendliness? So now this answer you have to write down in your own words. Children, I hope that you understood the story. So I think that you may write this answer. So write down in proper words. Children, let's see on page number 85, English workshop. From that the first question, make adjectives form the following. First one is harm. So answer is harmful. Continue, continuous. Believe, belief. Fear, fearful or fearless. Thought, thoughtful. Wish, wishful. Question, questionable. Courage, courageous. Children, second question, choose the correct alternative. So I hope that you can write this answer. For this you have to read whole lesson at least 2 times and find out answer and write down. Third one is, the story has a very heart-warming and touching end. Now try to change the end of the story to make it sound a very funny, full of horror and mystery. So now you have to read this story by heart at least for 2 times if you want to make changes in the end. So it should be imaginative. So whatever your imagination you have to use your own idea and make change in the end of the story. Now see question number 5, language study, prefix and suffix. So children, already I taught you prefix and suffix, how to identify, how to make changes from prefix to suffix and suffix to prefix. But once again I am going to repeat it. So we will see that a letter or group of letters added to the front of a word to change its meaning and make a new word is called prefix. Means whatever the word is given, in that you have to add some letters in front of that word. That is the prefix. So some examples are given over here. On plus tie, untie. Non plus stop, non-stop. Dis plus like, dislike. Super plus man, superman. Inter plus national, international. So you have to add some more examples. Here it is written at least 5 examples you have to add. But I will say that you have to add at least 20 to 25 examples of prefix. And you have to write down in your grammar notebook. Next one is a letter or group of letters added at the end of a word to make another word is called suffix. For example, teach plus er, teacher. Act plus or, actor. Child plus hood, childhood. friend plus ship, friendship, king plus dumb, kingdom, use plus full, useful, frequent plus ly, frequently, act plus ion, action, star plus ry, starry. So again you have to write down more examples, at least 20 to 25 of suffix. I hope that you understood which part you have to write down in the or question answers you have to write down in your classwork notebook, and this question number 5 language study you have to write down in your grammar notebook. And whatever the hard words are in lesson, you have to find out meaning of that words from the dictionary. You have to use dictionary and write down that words along with the meaning in your classwork notebook. Read this lesson at least 2 times. I am repeating it again for improving your reading skill. You have to read this lesson loudly for better understanding and good pronunciation. So thank you students. Have a nice day.